Hello, everyone. My name is Justin Ingram, and I'm a psychology major from the Department of Psychology here at North Carolina Central University. And this is my case study and final presentation. Thank you and enjoy. Hello, everyone. My name is Justin Ingram. I'm a current student at North Carolina Central University, and I'm conducting a case study with the Department of Psychology. I was introduced and told to come up with an element of Black culture that affects adolescents in either a positive or negative way. This helped me construct my hypothesis for the case study, which is whether Black children who participate in weekly church activities at a Black church throughout childhood will develop pro-social friendships or relationships throughout their adolescence, and the effect it has on their social and emotional development. Again, my hypothesis is children who participate in weekly church activities at Black church throughout childhood will develop pro-social friendships and their relationships. Again, this involves the involvement of church activities and the correlation of positive and negative relationships based on the pro-social friendships developed throughout adolescence. My abstract, the purpose of this experiment was to ask an adolescent their experiences between the ages of 13 and 19, about their experiences growing up in a Black church and how it impacted their development across multiple levels on a social, mental, and emotional level. I will discuss along with the signed consent of my participant in the study, along with interview questions that will be formulated based off the experiments and based off some of my own experiments and research from my articles. These will all be translated into Word documents, and the interview was conducted via smartphone and translated to a YouTube video with the interview questions based on the consent of the interviewer. My methods were to find a teenager between the ages of 13 and 19 who had experiences of Black culture with church. Again, my participant was Nigerian, came here to America at a young age, at the age of 6, grew up here throughout her life, had to balance Black church weekly, things like that, going to Bible study, going to church revivals, conventions of that nature and everything like that, and also having to deal with work, school, and balancing that off constantly. We conducted the interview again via smartphone and had an interview transcript. These were then transcribed by me into a formulative discussion based on the results and based on the information I gained from my articles. In the interview summary, these are a few questions based on what she said from the interview. How often did church affect your outlook on life and when it has happened? My participant told me that she had church a lot of times. This effect had a sour taste on her mouth, and then made her not really want to go to church as often because she was forced to because of her parents' strict religious practices. This also hurt her social outlook on life and hurt her development in terms of dealing with relationships and gaining friendships because she had difficulty trusting people based on the gossip of the church she heard around. In my literature review, based on the research I found on the findings of Barnes in 2005, the Black church played a pivotal role in the social development of African Americans in the community, specifically the use of prayer and songs. Traditional methods based on sermon and Bible study were not as effective over the moral outlook. However, in my study, neither of these were significant enough, and based on the information I gained from my questions, because her responses she received an unsatisfactory. Again, my results and discussion, my participant relayed to me that her experiences in the church were unsatisfactory. She went to church a lot of times. This being balanced with work and school made things very stressful in her life. And the strict, like, she would get in trouble for every little thing by her parents, and they would make her pray. They would pray many times in a day, and sometimes she would not like this, and she would have no choice. She would have to do chores, and if she got in trouble, she would have to pray. So things like this would hurt her interaction with her parents and her friends and her social development. throughout her adolescence in a negative way. However, this is not significant enough to view to come up with valid results because it's only one participant in my sample, and this is not a big enough sample to be a representative of the larger population, and therefore is not statistically significant enough information to come up with a conclusion that will provide me with information to accurately assess that children who participate in pro-social development in Black church will have pro-social development. I don't think that based on the information given. In conclusion, my hypothesis for the case study was whether Black children who participate in weekly church activities throughout childhood would develop pro-social friendships, i.e., through church activities, and develop positive friendships or relationships, either negative or false. Was proven either negative or false by my adolescent because there was only one adolescent in my sample, and this was not enough to convey valid results for the entire population. This is a review of my articles in the bibliography. And again, I want to say thank you for viewing my final presentation.